All right, so on the agenda today, I feel like before we get started, I should probably address the YouTube community, because I was trying to think if I could do this before the video somehow, like a separate clip or not, but in either case, you may see this, you may not. This may be something I choose to continue with, this may be something that happens once, but I haven't posted on YouTube in pretty much forever, and that is because I was going through school, and I was also working full-time. There's been a lot of things going on at once. Now that I have some free time, I'm hoping to do full playthroughs of stuff and record them as I stream and as games go on. So because of that, I want you to let me know if you enjoy these videos, if there's anything you would like in particular, if the screen has too much clutter because it is designed for a stream. I have gotten some feedback of people who really enjoy the relaxed atmosphere and kind of enjoy being able to have like a chill video on in the background while they wind down for the night. And so because of that, that has been part of the inspiration for actually trying to put together a series of YouTube stuff. I intend to edit them, so it's not just going to be a 3 or a 4 hour just pure chunk. I'll try to cut down some parts that are either boring or slower, or when I have to step away from camera and stuff like that. But again, let me know what you like, let me know what you don't like, and yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for at the moment, and hopefully they'll adapt and get better over time. So with that, I believe we can actually begin said stream. It's a bit quiet. Is it actually a bit quiet, or I think it's looking a bit fine. I don't know. Let's see. I don't want to go too loud in case I accidentally start railing my mic. Dot dot dot. Testing, testing, testing. Testing, testing, testing. All right. How's that sound? Does that sound a little bit better? I'm not going to retake the beginning. I don't want to retake the beginning. That'd be kind of annoying to do. I also realized that apparently last night when I made dinner, I splashed part of my mic with a sausage. So I had to wipe some grease off my mic. Oops. Better? Okay, cool. Oh, actually, that seemed like it spiked up a lot. I'm going to touch it down a notch. And maybe that'll be a little bit better. I think when I was like this, I was also talking a little bit quieter, just naturally, because I'm seeing my audio bar spike up a little bit. Okay. Well, in either case, what we have done so far is begun to wire up these guys. So these are our head of snake positions that we're going to be moving. So this is handling, so this one, each individual pin should handle 5 segments, unless it's a failure. So in each case, they should turn on the head in the next position, turn on the indicator in the next position, turn on the body, and then turn off that guy. And then this guy ends up going to the head position. Okay, I think I've got it reasonably laid out. We just need to make sure we stay consistent, and I'm hoping that I can. Actually, we're moving way too fast right now. Need to turn down flight speed ever so slightly. Just because I'm going to be going from individual segment, I can go up a little bit. I don't really want to be zipping all over the place and having too much difficulty controlling. Alright. So this one turns on or off the head position for each position of the snake. This one turns on the body. I don't know if that's on properly. That might not be on the switch technically. Turns on the position for the body, turns off the position for this head. And the way that I have it set, it's top, right, bottom, left, in left to right order. So this one's going top. So in that case, we would be turning on this guy and turning on the indicator LED. So turning on the indicator light right there. Cool. That should be 7 pins left over, and we're all good. We just need to repeat that. Approximately 64 times 4. I think we said that was what, 256? Yeah, 256. Well, only 253 more times to go. No, I did my math wrong. 200 and minus 4 minus 1, 251. Oops. I wasn't even close with that one. This one is top. This is right. Gonna go over here. This one is left, which actually does exist this time. In the last one that we were at did not exist because we were at the bottom left corner, so we couldn't go to the left. So this time we can go over to here, turn on the snake there, and the indicator there. And then this one's a failure because this one is, no, I already screwed it up. It's not top, right, left, bottom. It's top, right, bottom, left. Oops. So turn that off. Turn this one on. And then we indicate with this switch here. So this is our failure switch. And that should leave it at 8 segments. 8 segments and 8 segments. And this one's at 8 segments as well. Cool. 1 and 2. And then this one is the one that goes to the left. So that goes over here. And that's 2 out of 64 done. The grind commences, as always. Actually, wait, I didn't... Yeah, I probably should wire up these guys too. This will just be helpful down the line. If while I'm at these guys, I just attach these two to the head pins. That'll make sense. And 2, this one's the up. Right there. And right there. Wait. This one is right. Actually, now I'm concerned that I put this one on the right location. This is my right pin. Did I put it on the second one? I did put it on the second one. Cool. For the first couple, I'm going to be second guessing myself a lot before I actually get into a rhythm for doing it. This one's down, so this is the error. This is the one that throws a loss. This one is off to the left. Take this one too far. No, there we go. Okay, cool. I was just thinking why that one has 2 for a moment, but I guess they all have 2 to start, right? Yeah, they do have all have 2 to start. Okay. Cool. I was looking at it for a second. I was a little bit confused because I was adding a third one in and I only thought that there was supposed to be 2 up there, but no. There's already supposed to be 2, so we're all good here. So I'm trying to think, just some light math. So there's 64 of these. 64 times 4 is, again, the 256. And each of these is guaranteed to have at least 4 cable pins. So 4 times 256 is 2032, or no, 1032. So just on these 4 power sensors, we are placing 1,000 cable pins alone, which is, it's going to be a lot of cable pins that I'm placing. And most of them are going to have an extra cable pin, so theoretically it's like another 200 cable pins right there from just 4 power sensors repeating. That's okay. We will get it done. Slowly but surely it will happen. I guess these guys here, these power sensors that detect when the head of the snake hits the body of the snake, should probably end up being routed to the same one as the hitting the edge of the wall ones do. Because in theory, we check it on a clock cycle, So it doesn't matter which of the two conditions is met. So yeah, I think that's probably actually how we'll end up satisfying that, which makes things pretty easy. We also don't need to carry them every single time. We can probably attach a single button to each row for the failure mechanism and just trigger the button once, rather than having to route another massive spider web all the way down. That'll actually simplify things a little. No, that one goes here. This does not do this one. It is... Oof, yikes, it's right in the center. No, that's the one that needs to go. Cool. So now that should be at 8, then that takes it to 7. Okay, cool, cool, cool. That would have been a nightmare to have to debug and realize that that was not attached properly. Good thing we caught it now. That's why when I'm placing these down, I'm trying to place them, even though there's a ton of individual pins on each item, I try to place them like slightly off from the other ones. So if I need to go back like that, I can individually pick which one I have to remove without too much trouble or removing too many pins that it makes things super annoying. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The annoying part is if you accidentally remove a pin that you don't know which one it was, and you have to actually go back and track it through and figure out what was missed. Or sorry, what's been removed. This one's left. I'm learning, I'm getting faster. I'm remembering what I need to do for that far right one. So why does this one look like it has so much on it? Because it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 from each of these cable pins, 1 and 2 from the right and left. Actually, I guess that's about standard. Yeah, no, I guess that's about standard. And then we'll also be adding in the other row once we start bringing things downwards. Yeah, no, that looks good. So is it 7, 7, 8, 7, 8, and 7? Cool. Row's all done. And this is the final one of the row. So we are 1/8 of the way through, approximately. Yeah, that's right. Okay, cool. I was second guessing myself really hard there. So what I'm now realizing is this individual switch is going to have so many cable pins attached to it. If I did each and every cable pin attached directly to it, that would result in 8 plus 8, 16, plus 12, 28, plus 64 is 80, 90, 64 plus 28, 92. So there would be 92 cable pins attached to this individual switch, which I don't know if the game can handle that. So I don't know if I want to, or if I should probably have some extra buttons just so that there's less pins attached to it. I don't know if that would be a wise idea or if I'm just kind of overthinking it, but maybe this will be one of those one of the stress tests for the game to see if it actually can handle it or not. It's gonna be weird. Some of these are in different positions now, because the first row was before I really standardized how to build these individual segment blocks. So the first row kind of had things all over the place, but now that things are like aligned in a very particular manner, I'm hoping I did a good enough job of setting myself up for success with the building that it should be relatively easy. Wait, this is to the right, so that's a fail. Yeah, I guess I can write in each of the individual fails to there. And then we'll drag out the head hits the snake body as a different failure mechanism, just to, again, prevent clutter on that one switch. maybe I'll do like another 2 rows or something like that. And we can take a pause to work on something a little bit more interesting like the game clock, because we're going to need a 2-stage game clock that has the ability to cut power to it so we can prevent any progression from happening in the event of an emergency or in the event of the player losing or something like that. I was a little bit worried with the whole recording stuff, because this is, believe it or not, this has actually been a few weeks in the making of figuring out the optimal way to do recording and streaming at the same time, to making sure I had the right settings and I wouldn't be overloading either my encoder or dragging down the CPU on my streaming computer too much for actually producing a stream. And I had some issues with that on the last stream over the last couple of days, because I would have really hoped to be able to split the encoding so that I would be able to stream one view and record a different view. Just personally would have preferred to do it that way. But that actually basically doubled the resources that was required by my computer system, and it was not able to handle that. So here we are. And I'm very nervous because I keep wanting to make sure that like things aren't going crazy and things aren't going down. So I'm constantly being paranoid and looking at my my monitor to make sure nothing bad is actually happening. I probably should like accept that I have recorded full lengths before as a test. Everything's probably fine. I doubt everything is going wrong. We're good. Imagine if when this is all done and I just, flick the switch to start, it just works. How awesome would that be? If I turn it on and, the first time everything just naturally works, I don't think I'd actually cry, but I would cry. That would be so amazing. No, not there. Yep, that's the next one. Next one goes to these upper 2. There we are. Oh, I just gave it to the same one, didn't I? It needs to go to the right. It is this guy. And that is the cable pin on the left. There's 2 on the left. So we need to get the one that does, it's the far left power switch. That's the one. So this should still be on 7. This is 8. This takes it down to 7. And just to look, so we have one going to the enable, one going to the body, one going to the LED, and one going to the enable for the right. Cool. All good. And this is the only one that's on there coming from directly below. Cool, cool, cool. Avoided disaster yet again. This one is a loss because we can't move to the left because we are at the far extreme. Can't move to the left, so it goes here. Onto the never-ending green switch. The switch that is slowly becoming more green with cable pins on top. Cool. 2 rows down. I've got so many left to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that should be 5 rows. Yeah, cool. Well, we're getting to the end of this one at least. I don't know, we might be able to get this done before the 1 hour mark. Look at that, moving so speedily. Just such expert wiring pros. I think I may have been a little bit overzealous with one of my previous statements that next stream, I said this last stream, so next stream referring to this stream, we might be able to test a moving playing snake character. Not generation and not scorekeeping yet, but at least a moving snake character by the end of the stream. And I think that might have been a little bit a little bit too ambitious. I think the wiring alone would probably have taken the entire stream time if we went through and did all 8 rows of it one after another, which we're not going to do because that's unnecessary at the moment. But not to mention, on top of that, I haven't even figured out how I want to do the tail behavior either, which is, you know, if we're supposed to have a playable snake, even more of an issue than only having some of the wiring done, not actually having the proper way to clear your snake in the first place. That sounds like a big issue to me. So actually, that might be an interesting thing that we can also add to our list to do to help break up the time. It's funny, I get like weird phases of really wanting to work on a Circuit G project, and then sometimes where I'm like, oh, there's so much I need to do for it, I don't want to do it. This is one of those moments where I'm like, I'm here for this. I've got this project in mind. I've got this way I want to do it, and I'm all here to make it happen. Which is good because it makes me feel productive. It makes me feel like I'm actually like getting towards some of the long laundry list of things that I have to do, that I want to do for streams and all that other type of stuff. It's definitely one of those good feelings to have. But at the same time, it's a lot of monotonous behavior. If you can't tell by the 50 odd minutes that we've been doing this so far. You have good news. Oh, what is the good news? Oh, your friend got a job at GitHub. Ooh, that's awesome. Software engineering. That's gotta be getting some good pay there. That's so cool. Congratulations to him. A verbal offer, but an offer nonetheless. Hopefully they translate that to paper soon so he doesn't have to be left hanging. Getting good money. Oh yeah. Yeah, software engineers, you really do. If only I liked programming more, you know? If only I liked programming more. Alright, well, our spiderweb has been ever so slightly increasing in complexity, so I'm going to make a quick safety save real fast. Is it worth... we can do backup. I don't know if it is. I think we can just keep using this recent backup version. Because we have a backup before some patches and stuff that were released from Astroneer that I have just purely in case something goes wrong with like a patch at some point. I can revert to like a pre-patch save, and hopefully that can help fix some of my some of the issues if I encounter them. But I don't think I need more than that. Okay, so let's think about this clock. Where do we want to put this? It's not going to be terribly complicated. This is already starting to get real messy, so I think right here might be the perfect location for it, right next to our random number generator stuffs. So we're going to ultimately need a couple of delay repeaters, a couple of switches, maybe a power sensor or two. So essentially what we're looking at is we're looking to do a 2-stage clock, because we want the first stage to do a certain set of actions, and then the second stage will do a very rapid, immediate set of actions. The first stage is going to involve moving the head of the snake, or at least predicting where it's going to go. And then the second set is going to... Actually, no, the first... but the way that I have it set up doesn't quite handle that. Because when the snake moves to the next position, so when this snake moves position, when we take the head and we be like, okay, let's check where we're at and let's figure out where we go next. That's through these guys right here. That's what we've been working on wiring. When we do that, we move it to the next location, as well as turning on the light for the next location. So if we allowed that to happen, if we allowed that to happen, then the second stage is then going to be moving the back half of the snake up and figuring out if that actually was the loss, if it actually lost the game for the player. Okay. I guess that's not too bad to do. So I think what we're going to need is we're going to need 2 switches leading into a power sensor. The first power sensor of which is going to be like our first clock. No, actually the power sensor doesn't matter. It just matters what these guys do. It just matters how these guys go. Okay, so let's set something a little bit longer. Let's do like a 16 tick and then like a 5 tick. So the 16 tick is going to happen first. So what's going to end up happening is when we have our clock enabled and when we trigger, so when we initially start the game, we're going to have to open up both. We're going to close this off. This is only on power gained. We're also going to trigger this. So say for example, so we only needed 1 power switch. Say for example, we have that switch there. Let's just not cover the dot. And then we'll end up triggering this guy. This guy will end up triggering that. And trigger this. So what this currently has set up is we need the clock to be enabled in the first place. So when we want to stop the game, we can just click that button and then we'll stop. So what this is going to do, when this opens, we do something after 16 ticks, and then we do something after 5 ticks. Then we wait for some processing, then we do things. Okay, I think that actually works pretty well. And then whenever we want to say stop the game, flip that switch, we end our final last 2 ticks, and then we're all good to go. Actually, that was much easier than I anticipated. Sometimes things don't have to be complicated, I guess. That's rare. Just get some of these in a little bit more favorable position so I can track them back later. Because yeah, so this will be moving the head to the next position, and then this will be closing off the last tail location. So I guess we can kind of think about that real fast. So this is going to be handling our tail location. So the value that gets stored here actually, I think I'm going to need to add a segment pin for each of these guys. Because when this turns to the body, the snake body is going to, or the tail is going to continue to move in the same direction up until we get to the end. Actually, I guess maybe we don't have to do it that way. We could just have this basically do the exact same thing this does. So we'll slowly, rather than turning the position light on, we'll just be turning the position light off. Actually, yeah, that works out pretty well. We're basically just going to be doing the exact same thing. Same clock cycle, one off clock cycle, so it's for the same whole loop, but just on the alternating bits. Moving it in the direction. Oh, but you know what it is? The direction is not going to be based on the player. The direction is going to be based on where the head went when it was at that position. So we will need to move some of these pins over. So for example, from the bottom left corner, if the snake goes up, the next body part that's in that location goes up. So when we get to the tail, of the snake, the tail moving up, it doesn't really matter. We don't have to say the tail moves up. Instead, what we need to do is we need to turn off that location, which we'll be doing with, which I guess we can just turn that light off. But then we'll move the tail in the direction that the body went. So we'll slowly be keeping track of where the tail is. Yeah, that's how we're going to end up doing it. Which unfortunately means that for each of these guys, we're going to have to bring one of these branches over. And that way when we tick, we'll slowly keep closing things off. Actually, is there a way that we can prevent the player from moving the snake in the second phase of the clock cycle? So this is where we do our player movement. So when the player moves, the switch opens because that comes from power gained. So when this switch opens, we have the player in this location. Yeah, we can just add an extra switch in. If we have an extra switch in here that's tied to the opposite of that motion, then we should be perfectly fine. So when we trigger the first clock cycle, we can turn the switch off so that the player is locked into their current position, increment everything, and then we can reopen the switch again. But these are on power gained or lost. That's going to be annoying. Is there a different way to do that? I guess this needs to be on power gained or lost, and that doesn't matter. Oh no, these guys are on power gained. Yeah, no. That's actually perfectly fine. Because it feeds to here, and that opens up that switch. So if it doesn't have power, it's just going to close that switch off. So that's going to open up, and that loses power. And that gains power, that opens. How did I do this? Yeah, that opens up that one. So I guess maybe it's, so that'll, it's off. Is this one on? So all those guys close that off. So that's going to close it. Well, I think what we should probably do is we should probably just test it rather than going through it in my brain. Let's just make a save. Okay, so we will add in an extra switch to these guys. It's going to start in the enabled position. starts in the enabled position. This one is going to close it off to prevent changing position. Okay. And then this one is going to open it back up again to allow changing position after we have run our do clock cycle. Okay, let's give it a test first. So if this was the player, so currently the up direction is selected. Cool. If we were to flip this one, now the other direction is selected. Has that worked here? That one's open, all the other ones are closed. That one's open, all the other ones are closed. Yeah, looks like it's worked. Okay. So where did these switches come from? Why did that one open up? I guess this is what closes it off. Oh, I see, I see. So when something else opens up, so when this one opens up, it closes off all the other ones. So because this one is where we're currently at, all these are open and this one's closed. So when we open up this, we open up all the other ones and close off that one. Okay, I see, I see. I remember how I did things now. I remember. I always forget how I do things later on. Okay, so if I close that off, what happens? Oh, actually, everything just resets. Oh, that's lovely. That's really nice. All these should be off. Yep, they all look off. Cool. I'm slowly revisiting things that I've already done, and I'm like amazed by it. All right, so let's begin our clock cycle. So again, that closes things, and then after a bit, it opens up again. So right now we can change our position. We can change our position. We can change our position. Oh wait, we're already in that position. Oh no, we weren't. I was pressing on the cable pin. So right now things are open. We can change positions. Cool, everything's great. Change positions, everything's great. If I were to do this guy, everything's great. I'm noticing an issue. Wait, am I? Yeah, I'm noticing an issue. Every single time the clock cycle triggers, we turn off the direction that we're looking in, and then we turn it back on, which is not what I want. I think I'm gonna have to trust the user not to switch. Not to switch over. Actually, unless I were to place the switches at a different location. So I added them here. So rather than putting them there, I put them here. So those are an extra pair of switches that we have. And I have everything labeled on there just so that the cable pins, and so that that looks nice. But if we were to switch off these guys, these are on power gained or lost. No, those will do the exact same thing. Those will close off those. How can I protect against this? It's opened up by those. And then this is just what ends up closing up the switch when any of the other three are opened and when we have it in that position. Now this is a tough problem. Because I would like to be able to turn off the ability to switch the switches. Why don't I do them here? This might work. Why don't I do them on these guys? Might not be able to squeeze them in. I can put them to the side, I guess. Put them slightly off to the side. I think this might work. I can explain why in just a moment. Let me just get it all set up. There we are. There's the pixel that lets it work. I heard the snap. I know it can work. There we are. Okay. So first one closes off from the large one. I need to make sure I put them all down at the same time, otherwise that will screw things up. Alright, I guess it doesn't matter, they're all on the same schedule anyways. Okay, and then all the small ones get placed out. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. So, with no clock cycle enabled, with no clock cycle going on, this should just be operating as normal. That one handles going to the right, which is the second one. Handles going to the right is the second one. I'm just checking a little bit more further out just to make sure, because I didn't look at these ones earlier on. Yeah, it looks good. Okay. And then swapping this guy will, again. Now that did not work the way it was supposed to. So that's open. When I open up this switch, this opens up power gained or lost. And opens up this switch. These should be off, shouldn't they? Yeah, I think they should be off. No, they were all on before. So why is something weird happening now? So when I do this, this guy's getting power. It's turning on that one and it's opening up the capability to then shut off all other ones. So if I flow power through here, this gains power, turns on our switch, this goes, opens up this guy, and this one turns off the one that I just turned on. But why? It's going to open up that. 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 Something's weird here. Something is really weird here. All I did was change this. Yeah, so that's from the other three. So when this one gains, it opens up those. But then when we go to this one, That will open up that one, which will close off that one. Close off that one, close off that one. Why is this being so weird? Try this. So this was not happening before. This was decidedly not happening when we last did this, and I don't know why. Maybe if we just route that one through real fast. Okay, so it's something about having the extra switch in the way. What did that extra switch do? The extra switch shouldn't have done anything. Unless I didn't wire it right. Because it's just an open switch. It's just an open switch. It acts as a gateway. It doesn't matter if the other switch is there or not. And then when this switches... Yeah, for some reason, something must have just been weird. Something must have not been wired right. I don't know, it works now. Let's check. Nope. Now it's having the issue. Okay, what if I were to look at it like this and I were to cut out all like the working parts? I think I need a delay. That opens up that. That opens up all those. Turns on all those. This guy closes that off. Yeah, I think I need a delay. Are these all off? They are all off. Okay. So which one needs the delay? So when this guy comes through, it's going to open up that one to sense. That'll go there. And then when another one opens up, so what we want to delay is we want to delay opening up the one that it's already on. So that should go there. So it'll be a 1 tick cycle. This one, it goes to this guy. So 1 tick should be fine. This one goes to here. So what I think was happening is I think that there was a slight issue with the timing sequences of the uh-oh. What did I just do? Went to all the other ones except for the top one. So this one goes to that. Let me make sure I grab the cable pin on that one this time. Yep, there we go. And then it goes to the negatives of all the other ones. So we'll just do 1, 2, and 3, and that'll bring it down to 7. Okay. So again, because there was a little bit of a delay, when we actually wanted to clear a switch, it was taking an extra. It was happening too fast, essentially. So there we go. Lovely, look at that. Okay, now that's working great. So top to left works, top to right works, top to bottom works. Okay, right to bottom works, right to left works. We already did that one. Okay, bottom to right works, we already did that. To go back. Cool, everything works out beautifully. Now we just need to test it with the clock. Wait, that's not the clock. This is our clock. Let's enable our clock. So the way that this works, it closes off those guys. So we are currently going to the right, which is the second one in, which is lovely. And then outside the game clock, we want to move up. Well, now we're doing so. We are moving upwards, which is the first one, which is also working, I believe, as intended. Is that one on? That is on. Cool. So now let's try to move when we're in between game clocks, and let's see how screwed up that gets. Well, it says we're moving to the right, and it looks like we're moving to the right. Let's just increase the time. 25, and let's do like 13. So this is the long tick, short tick. There we go. This is the long tick. Happens. No, I don't think that did anything. Actually, as a matter of fact, it turned it off. So we should be moving in no direction. Yes, that is correct. Why did that one turn it off? Okay, so when we're outside the game clock, everything works fine. So outside the game clock works good. Let's wait for the next pulse to come. Disables. Yeah, that's not what we wanted. Yeah, let's stop the game clock. Yeah, that's not working. That's also not doing what we intended, which is disappointing. But I think the delay is a step in the right direction, because we have that there. Do we turn off before we start the next one? No, we move positions, and then after the delay, we turn off the old one. I guess what we could do... Well, nothing we did actually made a difference. So let's load up the previous save that we just made as a backup. The most recent copy. Because anything that we just did, aside from, well, we made the clock, but that's in this version, was kind of useless, sadly. Sad. I think the theory of using that clock is definitely the way to do it. Theory of using that clock is 100% the way to go. We just need to figure out the right place to put it in. And honestly, we might be able to put it in between these guys. Because if we put it in between these guys, what these guys do... but that doesn't prevent the change. You see, thinking about it, there's a way to do it that would require a lot of extra circuitry. And that is what I am hoping to avoid, a lot of extra unnecessary circuitry. But at the moment, I don't know if there's a way around it. Because I don't want to move the snake in two directions. I don't want to create a secondary snake that the player then has to worry about, which currently is possible. Especially if we have a fast game clock, it's just gonna act too quickly. I think that might have to be how it works, unfortunately. Yeah, we're gonna need a little bit of extra fancy circuitry. All right, well, let's just do that then. That is what it is. We're gonna need... We're gonna need the switches there. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll need a double enable, and then we are gonna need these guys. Okay, we are gonna need to have that second switch in play. That's the lovely one that screwed up everything last time. Actually, let's create that duplicate before we go anywhere. Okay. So once again, currently, everything is all set to operate exactly as it did before. Cool. All right, everything is the same as before. We just need to make some of this stuff a little bit nicer real fast. Why did you jump to the other side of that? Actually, that doesn't leave me a lot of spacing. Let's get a little bit clever with our switch placement. Just so we can actually manage both of these guys without overlapping too much of our area for other stuffs. Cool. So these should only be on power gained. No, power gained or lost. Power gained or lost. We are going to need multiple cable pins from each. So let's at least break these guys out now. The first one, again, is going to be our typical enable from these guys. So they're going to start in the open position, and then when we have the clock execution going, we will prevent that from occurring. Okay. And we'll open it back up immediately following. Actually, I think I placed the switch in the wrong spot. So when this happens... that closes that off. This is what actually transitions it. Yeah, I think we placed these in the wrong spot. Yeah, I think we have them in the wrong spot. We can test it real fast. At least it prevents it from being too messy. That's nice. Just need to figure out how to get these guys to sit properly and be seated on the ground as opposed to hovering. No. There we are. That one played nicely. Will you play nicely? Nope, not playing nicely. You can tell when it's actually hovering over the ground versus when it isn't. It's just one of those feelings you pick up over time. Is this one really not going to want to do it? I guess I had to turn it ever so slightly sideways. Nope. Come on. You can fit in there. I know you can. Alright, I guess it just had to be off to the right side a little bit. Okay, cool. Who cares? Anyways, so that is going to be controlled by these guys. So that's on power gained or lost. So we don't want that to trigger on that one. We don't want that one to trigger. We don't want that one to trigger, and we don't want this one to trigger. Actually, we might not need to have them split so much. Might be able to do this a little bit easier. Okay, so this one, then what this one's gonna do is when we trigger this, we are gonna want to block off that from transitioning. I guess that's just gonna happen on each and every one? Question mark? I think that should do it. So again, each of those is currently just left in the open. That's an issue. Okay, so that was currently left in the open. So when that gained power, that would toggle that. Which in turn turns that off. That is an issue indeed. Can't do them on power gained. Sorry, I can't do them on power gained or loss. I can only do them on power gained. Okay, so if that's only on power gained, that'll turn that off. If it chooses to go through. Actually, I should probably switch the states of these buttons. So when that gains power, Washington Lopes, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let me make this work. I feel like we're so close. I feel like we're almost there. But there's just like one last tiny disconnect that I'm not seeing that'll make everything just work. Because I think this setup will do it. I think this setup works perfectly, especially with preventing the cutoff from the other ones. And when we first press the button, or when we first enter our negative clock, that's when we turn off any of these guys. So no matter what, we're not going to transition if we open up a different switch, which is great. So if we're not going to transition when we open up a different switch, we need a way to open these back up after. Yeah, we need a way to open those back up. How can we do that? I would love to have those on power gained or lost, but they're dependent on something in the system that's on power gained or lost, and that's just going to create a never-ending cycle. Unless I were to keep track of where the player position is every time, and depending on what the player's position is. That'll prevent transition. Like, all those will be naturally open, and wherever the player is... No, but then wherever the player is, that'll close, and then that'll again trigger the player cycle, so that doesn't work. Interesting. Again, the alternate solution is just to rebuild that exact same circuit, just inverted, so that it turns the powers back on as soon as our clock cycle is done. But I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. But I think I have to. I think I have to indeed. Alright, let's just go to the other side of these guys this time. So we'll do 1, 2. Yeah, I can't come up with a different way to do this. And I feel like there's got to be a better way. I really, really genuinely do. But I can't come up with it right now. And for the sake of passing things along and preventing things from stalling out, we're just going to push forward. I have to do it with its own individual one, don't I? Yeah, I do. Alright, I guess you guys get your own QTs. Just really don't want to disturb the pins that are already here. Alright. It is what it is. Looks a little bit messy, but what can you do? Okay, cool. All those guys are getting power. We'll do on power gained. We will have each of these tied to the respective ones of these. So I guess we'll stick on the same sides. So we can just act without having to flip things over in reverse polarity. We can all just do it from one direction. Oops. 8 pins, 7 pins. Okay, cool. All right. So in this case, this time, these are going to be open. These are all going to be open. So that way they close off at the same time that those guys open. Wait, I think I might have just thought of the solution. No, that would not have worked. Never mind. You're set to continue. And then these guys just carry this on through. So these guys, so that's the right side one, just reopens up the right side if that needs it. This one will reopen up the second one in if that needs it. Reopen up this side if this one needs it. Reopen up its own far left if we need it. All right, let's do a quick test. Let's turn the clock off. Clock is off, good. All right, so we are currently moving in the upward direction, which appears to be consistent across all platforms so far. It's a good sign. Then that also will have turned off this guy and turned off this guy. So theoretically, switching between without the clock doesn't do anything. Perfectly fine. Now we're moving in the downward direction. Why did that one not go? That needs to be open. That's an issue. Because these guys are already on, when power comes through them, they toggle. We're in a bugged state somehow. Yeah, there we go. Okay, on to, or sorry, all these should be off. All these should be off. Looks like they're all off. Then it's off. This one's on. Off. Oh. Some of those are not connected, which might have been contributing to the issue. Yeah, that might have been contributing to the issue just a little bit. Off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on. Oh no, it's the other way around. All these need to be off. And these ones need to be on. Yes, those ones need to be on. All those are on, all those ones are off, and then all those ones are all on. Okay. So, flipping this switch open. Flipping open the first one was fine. Doing that is totally fine. That's disabled. It's only on power gained. Let's switch this to off. Let's turn these. What do we want to do with those? Because I'm thinking on switching this to power lost instead. I think power lost might be more beneficial. That way we're not sitting on base power. So first clock cycle will open up power, and then the second is going to cut it. So if these are on power loss, we're going to re-trigger the ones that are open, which are those ones. Okay, I think that actually works. I think that fixed it. So if we switch this, that should work. That should be open. All these should be open still. Nothing's wrong there. Those top ones are all closed. That one's now closed. That one's open still. I should have switched this one to open. How did this one not switch? It's coming from here. Should have triggered. It should have opened up. No, that was open because... Oh no, we want this one closed and we want all these other ones open. Oh, they were open. Why is this one switched backwards? So those are on, off, on. Okay. I think we've solved it. Yeah, that one works fine. It works fine. We now should have on. This one should be on. It's not on. Oh, we're still reading down the third one? Oh, right, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a different order. That one should be the fourth one. Yep, so that's the fourth one. All those are on, the other ones are off. This one is open because we are in that position. So that closes off that one. Those three are all the same. Those ones are fine. Those top ones are fine. That one should be off, and then these three are on. Okay. And then if we turn that one off to just close the cycle, got on. The other ones are all off. Those are all doing their job, and those are all doing their job. Okay, let's do a test. Actually, let's make it back first. I like making backups because you never know when you're going to actually need extra backups. And if this doesn't work, we revert to the 1, 2, 3 save. All right, well, let's turn our clock on. Let's make sure that we're getting the proper behavior first. Looks like we are. So when these are all, we enter the clock cycle, we no longer transition. Because nothing is selected yet. So nothing is selected yet, so we're turning them all off. So during a normal operation, I open up that guy. We close off the transition for all the other 3. Oh, lovely. We're not toggling our direction. We're closing off the direction for all the other 3. I toggle this one in a normal clock cycle. We move to the next one over, and everything is beautiful. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Let's bring it back to the top. And let's see what happens when we try to change in the middle of a cycle. I think it just did it at the end. Yep, it just did it at the end. Did it. Beautiful. Just perfect. So for anybody who is curious as to why this is a big deal and what we are doing, basically, as the user is playing Snake and we have our clock ticks going and we have our cycle going and all that type of fun shebang, if the user is controlling the Snake and using this control to do so and is picking directions to move in, that looked weird for a moment. Let's just close everything off. Those are all off. Those are all on. Those are all off. Those are all on. Those are all on the same side. Okay, I don't know what was up with that. Might have been like the residual of a clock. But basically, when this is open, we are moving the Snake in a particular direction. Great, cool, no worries there. If I had done my clock at 1 cycle, actually, I guess I could have just done my clock at 1 cycle, now that I think about it. I hate to admit it, but I think I could have. No, the reason we can't is for generating new items. I lost my earbud in my ear. Jeez, that was a nightmare to dig out. Holy cow. Yeah, the reason we can't do 1 cycle is because of generating items. Generating items would not be handled properly if we had it on a different clock cycle. We need to have it on the same one, and we need to make sure that we eat one first, and then when we do the second set of clock cycles, we can generate a new item if we need to. Okay, good. I know I didn't do it for the wrong reasons. But anyways, as I was saying, the reason that we had to do all that fancy work is because in between the clock cycles is when we move our Snake to the next position. And if the user changes directions at the exact... Okay, why is this now messing up? So all those are open. when we say switch to this one. Oh, I think we do need those ticks. Let's put that to 2. I want to have a long delay between what the user tells the game and what the game responds with. But yeah, so if the user moves the snake during clock cycles, it will read it as 2 individual movements. Yeah, that actually fixed the problem. So because if the user would time it right, so the snake would be starting to go up, and in between, before it's actually cleared the tail, it would split in 2 directions. And then you'd have 2 snakes that are moving outwards, which is, again, obviously not the right behavior. So the only way to do that would be to lock out user control of motion during this interim time between the 2 clock cycles. And so that's what all this fancy stuff does. All this fancy stuff is a block, essentially. It's a block that prevents the user from moving the snake during the clock cycles. Changing the direction between the clock cycles, which is good because it prevents the direction from disappearing entirely, which was the first issue that we were having, and then it also, prevents extra stuff from being generated. And that's actually exactly what this thing is doing here. This thing is doing random snake placement generation. So if we were to press this button, this would call for a random position. So if I were to press that button now, there's our random position. Do you notice that it took a second? The reason it took a second is because the random number generation is based off of these delay repeaters that are constantly just cycling one after the other. So it's not really random, but at any given point in time, the position of that compared to the position of the one that's going... Oh, this stopped. Why did this stop? That's kind of weird. Huh, we'll have to figure out why that stopped. But basically the reason that all of that stuff is going at this rate is because it is tied to the clock cycles to prevent an item from being called for while we are transitioning delay repeaters. So they're synced. So they're synced together to make sure that that doesn't actually happen. But now we've run into an issue where one of our delay repeaters has stopped moving and we need to fix that. So this is turning into a very hefty maintenance episode. So let's see what's up. All these should have 9 segments. That's correct. All of them have 9 segments. Cool, cool, cool. Is this 3 ticks? This is 3 ticks. So this is going for these guys right here, for these super fast ones. If I were to wait a tick, open it up, and then close it for 2, we can do that instead. So we only want to allow generation for 1 tick, and we want to keep it closed for 2 ticks. So if we were to open this up for 1 tick, and also trigger this guy, I think I might have it backwards, because that'll open it up for 1 tick. Yeah. So this opens it up after 2 ticks. It opens it up, and then 1 tick later we close it. That's what it is. Okay. And then we go back to this guy. So this is a never-ending cycle. So we want to start on this one. I'm going to need this to start everything. Okay. So for some reason, this is closed off. So this has received power. But for some reason, it didn't move to the next one. For example, when this receives power, it should just keep going. And for some reason, it didn't do that. Looks fine now. Alright, so I just stopped it so I can restart it with this. Because this will actually sync everything properly. Let's start it right there, shall we? Random location. Let's get it running. Cool. So again. Well, why did you now stop? I saw this one tick, but it didn't do anything. What? I think I deleted this this guy too prematurely. Start it there and open up this switch this time, and let's see if that works. Yeah, that seems to work fine. So if I were to recall this, still work? Yeah, it still works. And this should be flickering between those, or before those transitions happen. So we can successfully call random objects without screwing anything up. So let's check. Random objects. They look pretty random to me. Cool. Try to get one in the bottom. There's one. Awesome. Well, now I need to go clear them. Oops. I think that actually worked beautifully, though. That accomplished exactly what we needed. Awesome. What save are we in? We are in Snake. Okay. So we don't need these backups. So we are in the proper save file. Cool. Okay. So I'm going to wire up one more row of these guys for now. Let's spend 10 minutes doing this real quick. That was a nice little break from the monotonous and trying to solve some challenging problems. That was cool. And I think we have some pretty decent solutions to them as well. That'll be very, very good in the long run. You know what it was that I think is confusing me? I think it was the second cable pin that goes down. Because it's down and like slightly to the lower left, it feels like I'm going down and diagonal left, which is not the case. And that kind of confuses me because I feel like I'm going off in that direction to place a pin down. All right, let's override our backup save real fast. Now that we have a little bit more work done. Okay. All right, and oops, nope, not what we wanted to do. All right, so I'm going to take a quick break. This is an extended stream, so I'm going to go grab a quick snack, go to use the bathroom, fill up my water real fast, and respond to some messages. So don't go anywhere. Give me like about 5 minutes or so, and then I will be right back, and we will pick up right where we left off. And before we decide what we want to do with the rest of our evening, let's do some Erdl games. I've done all the other ones. Yay, Quirtle. I know, right? All right. Stare. Mold. And pinch. Well, that's pretty easy to say that that is place. Ooh, we don't really have a lot of work with. That could be flail. The tough thing is a bunch of the words that I have. Oh wait, no, cannot be flail. The second letter is not an L. Ooh, you can't help. You did them already. Yeah, don't help. We can get these. You can help on well. The tough thing is the delay makes it a little bit trickier to actually help on these, but you can definitely try to help on the duo, the sexac into chordal or whatever, however you pronounce it. Oh, there's also U in it as well. could be AIL. I'm thinking like something fail, like unveil, you fail, but I don't think that's... Can't be axial. Axial is a good one. Uxale? Oh. Whale. Nobody ever thinks about the Q. The poor Q. Always gets the sad end of the stick. That can't be dried. I is probably in the middle, and it ends in an ER. Dryer. Nailed it. And then N. Gonna make calzones make yourself feel better. Add a little bit of extra healing medicine to your calzones there, Nicole. And Niven? I feel like Niven is a word. Vixen works. Ooh. Something IVEN. Given. Hey, one extra word left at the end. That's not too bad. Inputting them onto my phone now. Stare, mold. Nope, not punch. Pinch. Here we are. Place. Quail. Dryer. We did guess Vixen before given. Cool. All right. Now on to, oop, we just did Quirtle. Set the order of these properly. October. This could be, no, it can't be diary. It'd be dairy. Untie. Unite. T-I-E-I-T-E. Yeah, it could be unite or untie. Hopefully some of the other words will figure out those letters for us. We have all 5 here. This could be peril. Oh no, it can't start with a P. I'm dumb. Namer? Namer's a word, but again, we don't have any green letters, so it's kind of hard to commit to it. Space. In space. Solar. This is probably, could be stung or stunk, or stunt. Let's see if solar helped with any of this stuff. It didn't. Jeez. I think it's gonna be dairy. I'm more confident in that one. Oh yeah. So it doesn't end in ER. Nerim. Ramen. I'm okay with ramen. I'm very okay with ramen. So we have RE, we need an LP. Repel? I think it's got to be repel. I think it has to be an E in the front. It does. Cool. So we've got 5 out of the 8. So we still have +2 guesses left. So we did U-N-I-T-E, so it can't be unite, so it's untie. Most likely. Okay, 2 left, and they're the bottom 2. Ready? Apparently that's a word. We still don't know. This could eat up all our guesses. Stunk. Ooh. That could have been tough. That could have been very tough indeed. Stung was the last one. All right. Well, let's go. The Sexaginta-quattuortal. It's not quattuortal, it's quatuortal. But it's kind of funny to pronounce the double T's. Honestly, I think that this is easier than quartal or octortal. Because the odds are that there's 1 or 2 words that have all 5 letters in and are very easy to guess. And because of that, you can then just transition them together or chain them all together to then get all the rest of them. So, I don't know. I think that this one's a little bit easier. That's probably rifle. Taking a gamble on the F. Sweet. Okay, let's go back to the beginning and let's see which ones have 5 letters. This one has 5 letters. Errol. Laren. Canton. N. Probably starts with the N. Probably ends in EL. NROEL does not work, so I'm just gonna move on. Cast. MPT. Nope, still missing a letter. FLE. Nope. Actually, so far we're not getting good words to begin with. I still maintain it's easier, but we got to get there first. We vault. 7 vault. There's no other alt words, I don't think. Apparently there is. Oh, we have the F. It's okay, I do dumb things sometimes. Actually, we have all the letters there. Mouse. Well, that's 1 guess down. I wish we had free still. That's probably small. Yeah, cool. Stint. UID. Squid. That's actually an interesting spot for the Q. Didn't accept it. Oops. Not squill. Squid. Slaw. Just ends in a D. Yeah, we can't do that one. Fort. Excuse me, forte. AO. Don't have it at the moment. IE and a PT and R. Tripe? It's gotta start with the T. Cool. Roist. No idea what that word means. But it exists. POAR. Apron, that's it. Confused me for a second when I couldn't start with one of the consonants. S-T-O-C. It's probably going to be a K. Yeah, I don't think it could be anything else. Fleck. L-U blank D and E. Glued. I don't think it can be anything else. Cool. We didn't have an E in that position yet, so that'll definitely help, like, specifically here. P-U, so it's got to be a P here. I think it can only be upped. Ooh. I gotta start being careful. What is it? It's 64 words, 70 guesses. I used 3, and then I lost 2 already, so I have 1 more free guess. Could be duped. Yeah, I could be duped. It's a little bit too overzealous there. Rock. Gotta be real careful for the rest of them. Diner. Is this duped? It is duped. I really got duped there, I guess. GU. It's probably gully. But that's a risk that I don't want to take right now. Smack. R blank blank IT. We need an M and an E. Remit. F-I-U-C and S. So F-I-C. That can't be the S. Ficus? Haven't heard of that one. R, A, and a K. We need the P. Oh, it starts with the P. So prank. R-O-U-T-E. See, this is the stage of the game that's easy. If you hit all the letters pretty quickly, a lot of it is just entering in stuff that is really missing one letter, and it already is in the word. It's just in a different position. C-A-N-N. Ooh, this could be a little bit tricky. Is canna a word? It is. Canna, but so is canny. Is there an A or a double A that I used somewhere along the lines? There isn't. I think this is my best bet to get a Y out. Nice. That'll help for one of the earlier words because I wasn't sure if a Y would fit or not. Burr. P-U blank P-Y. It's not a P in the middle. It's pulpy. O-U-N-D. Have a D. Could be wound, it could be bound. There's a couple options there, and I'm not a fan of it. Trace. F-L-U-S-H. Flush. We have all the letters in this one. S-P-I-R-E. Spire. Oh, we got a lot of letters here, but... Okay. We use D-O-T... Can't start in the T, can't start in the D. Is there an E? I think it's probably outdo. Yeah, so T's got to go here. D's got to go there. And all that's left is the O. Nice, that's filled with a lot of letters that we just found places for. A blank E-L, we need an S. Oh, we do have the S. A-S-E-L. Easel. E-A-R-N. And that's all we have. E-A-R-N. Is Warren a word? Nope. Earn a word. Oh, we have the Y. I missed it amongst all the other letters. There we are. All right, this is the last row. R-E-M-I. What else do we need? I think it's got to be an X. Yep, remix. I-N blank Y. We need a K. Well, there's a couple options that have a K before the Y, including Binky and Winky. There are some other options that we can leave to our imagination for now. A-M blank E. Probably A-M-M-E. Mame? No. Started with an M. Jam? Wham. Sam. That could be a tricky one. I have no idea what that could be. So we need an L-O-U blank H. Oh no, L-O-U blank H. And there's a G. L-O-U-G-H. Sweet. C blank E-S-S. Chess. Y-A blank O-O. Yahoo. I didn't realize that would be in here. I guess it's an exclamation as well as a proper noun, so that makes sense. Gray. It's probably going to be a V for gravy. Yep, there's the V. Gravy. L-A-T. Lathe. I want a lathe so bad. It's Eric. Surprised how popular Sex Aginta Quatortle is getting on Twitch. Well, it is infinitely popular since I have ever started streaming it, which is, you know, infinite from 0. I don't know. We're just having some fun. I like it. I'm a fan of it. So we're just having a good time. R-E-S-T. It's probably breast. Nope, it is not. Rest. Ooh, that's a W that we've been needing for a while. W-I-E-L-D. Actually, wield is a tough word. That might have been tricky for us. U-D-U-C-H-Y. Dushi? I haven't heard of that one. And then G-A-M-U-T, Gamut. I've heard of that one, but I don't think I would have guessed it. All right, so we need an M, we need an X, we have I-O, axiom. Ah. It's also a tricky word. S blank R-U, and we need a C. Do we have a C in the second position so far? I don't see a C in the second position. So I think scrub would probably be the best next guess. Sweet, sweet. E blank O-M. We need an N. Oh, E-N-O-M. Venom. I didn't realize we already had it completed. All right, E blank R-O-L. enroll. I thought enroll had 2 L's. Maybe it's a different meaning of the word. All right, so we need an I and a U. We have blank M, blank, blank E, blank M, blank UE. We still need the I. And then there's the B. Imbue. Ooh, we're getting really tough words today. That is not an easy one either. Holy cow. This would make sense as to why we had to skip so many of them going down. CH, we need an O. CHO, choke. W and a D, vowed. Icily. EM blank blank Y. We need a T. I'm gonna guess we need a P. Yep, empty. A few more left to go. A, we need an FLE. FL and an E. It's EA, it's leafy. A blank AGE, and we need an D. Adage. T, CTET. Octet. Wow. So we have adage, octet. Got axiom. Holy cow, these are tough sets of words. ERTH. Birth. Birth isn't too bad. It's a little bit weird with the E, but it makes sense. IBI, we need a T and an A. Tibia. We haven't started with a T? Oh, we did. Okay. So ends in ED. We need an N still. E. Is that ENNED? Ended. It's probably ended. Nice. A. We need a W and an L. We have an O. Wow. GULLY, goalie. I think I said goalie earlier on when we were scrolling through. I think that was one of the ones I hinted at. OUND, was it found? Wound. That was one of the ones that had a lot of options left. We're on the final 2 words. We'll get back to that one in a moment. So AM blank E. We need a B. We need a B. Sand does not work. Jam? Jam works. We used an M, an A, and a B. Yeah, I guess it's got to be jam. Okay. 1 word, 2 guesses left. Icily is redundant to icy. I feel like I like weird English words. I don't think icily is redundant to icy, because icy is kind of like an adjective. It's describing something. So, you know, the sidewalk is icy, but you wouldn't say the sidewalk is icily. Icily is like an adverb, like something happened icily. You wouldn't really use it for anything, because it would be like that person skated icily. Like, no, they skated on ice. But I do think it is technically different. All right, so we have inky. Were my thoughts correct? Let's see. Is it a Z? Oh, it could be a zinc. It could be a Z. Well, we got to use the Z. Oh. is it? So we started with an I, a Y. We haven't started with an N. Ninky, is that a word? No, it's not. That leaves. Is that how you use that as an adverb? I think that's how you use it. I'm not saying that's a good example. Ninky. Hey. Yeah, so look at that. Rest, W-R-E-S-T, axiom, wield, dushy, venom, gummut, enroll with one L, vowed, pulpy, pulpy's fine, kinky, wound, Yahoo. There were a couple other weird ones. Birth is a little bit odd. Isily. Yeah, this was a tough set of words. Very tough set of words. Isily. Covered with or consisting of ice. There were icy patches on the roads. Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, it's the adverb form. Okay. I was just about to say, wait, did they really use icy instead of isily? They're probably using the extended dictionary. They could be. Actually, one of the TV shows that I've just started watching and I've gotten Nicole into is called Countdown. It's an English show with like word games and number games. But I've been watching a comedy version called 8 out of 10 Cats Do Play Countdown, or 8 out of 10 Cats Do Countdown. And it's really funny because all the contestants are comedians. So obviously they're just having a hilarious time. And there are some interesting things that come out of the dictionary segments in that show. I'm trying to remember some of them off the top of my head, but I don't at the moment. But just like obscure words that you wouldn't know are words but are in the dictionary and like somehow make sense. All right, so in trying to think, it is, you'll check it out. It's pretty funny. I like it a lot. So we've been live for 3 hours. What do we want to do? We could continue playing Astroneer and just continue doing wiring, which, you know, is just wiring. Nothing too crazy, nothing too unique. We could switch games for an hour, something that is certainly possible. I don't know how beneficial it would be, because again, it's just, you know, playing a different game for a little bit. But I did actually have an interesting thought. There is a online FPS that I've played before called Crunker, which again is exactly what it sounds like. It's an online FPS, and that's always kind of fun. That's always kind of fun to play. Maybe we'll do like 5 minutes of that at the end. But I think for now we might just stick with sorry, hold on. I think for now we might just end up sticking with Astroneer. That might just be the way to go. As long as none of you guys mind, of course. Because we do still have a lot that we need to do. We have wired up we've wired up half of 4 rows. And then in order to finish the game, we need to wire up the remaining half of those rows. So that's 4 halves, and then the remaining 8 halves. So we're a quarter of the way through wiring up the boards. Then we need to go over just a little bit of details on preventing. So when the player eats an item, on preventing the snake from shrinking, so we grow the snake larger. How the game ends and clearing the game. Yeah, we've got a couple things that we still need to do. Okay, well, we'll stick with Astroneer then. Let's hop on into it. This is right where we left off. Just gonna keep going. I know I said that we were doing an extended stream, and this is an extended stream because we're still streaming even past like the usual 3 hours that I typically go. I think we might do like 3:30, 3:45 or something like that. Well, it is a Friday, so we could always hit 4. If we're having fun, we'll keep going. We're making good progress, we'll keep going and whatnot. But, you know, if things start to slow down, or if things get a little bit tedious, having worked on Astroneer wiring for nearly 4 hours, then we might end. We'll see. I don't know, after playing all of the word games, I have a renewed vigor that I am excited about. There are some other projects that I can make progress on, though. One of the things that I'm like slowly kind of like turning over in my head as I'm doing these, so I'm not fully distracted, but one of the things I'm like trying to think about as I'm doing some of this wiring, because again, it is a little bit on the monotonous side, is again how I want to do these YouTube recording things, and I'll give you guys another call to action at the end of the official stream when I will cut the recording. But I'm not sure how long I want to do the videos, because part of me is thinking that it would be really cool to, you know, chop them up into like anywhere between like 15 to like 25 minutes, keep them shorter, keep them condensed, and make all the content like more quality content from the streams. And there could be 1 or 2 parts. VODs, are you planning on editing them? Yes, I am. So I actually, you know what? I probably should have checked the VOD aspect of things, because I'm just recording them right now. But I might have been able to just download the videos off the VODs, and it might be a higher quality than my recording if my components are not as good. But anyways, yeah, so I am planning on recording them. I don't know if you were here when we had the conversation yesterday. I was basically talking with people who were hanging out about whether they would like to see cut up edited streams on YouTube. Because again, I haven't had a lot of time to dedicate any time to YouTube recently, and I do want to continue to put up videos. And I thought this would be a great way to let people who maybe missed the stream watch a YouTube video on their own pace. And in doing so, again, I'm not entirely sure how long I want them to be, because I definitely plan on cutting up, like when I went to go grab a quick snack, like I'm gonna cut stuff like that out, or if there are certain things that happen that I don't want on my channel, like someone comes in and I have to ban them, I'll cut stuff like that out or something like that. So I definitely plan on editing them, but I'm not sure how long I want them to be. Because again, as I was saying, the ideal length to me was somewhere between like 15 to 25 minutes. So, you know, it's a little bit longer. You can throw it on while you're doing something or while you're relaxing, and you can kind of enjoy the same type of vibe that typically on stream, a little bit more laid back, some nice music going on in the background. And if there's a lot going on in a stream, we can do 2 or 3 videos per stream or something like that. Raw streams and edited? You think both? The thing is, like, I don't really want to do raw, because to me, I don't want to just be like throwing all the content that I possibly can out there to see what hits. Actually, you know what? Now that I say that, I think I like your idea. I really flipped on myself there, huh? Because what I was originally thinking is if I kept them edited, kept them short, it wouldn't really be the same vibe of, you know, a little bit slower, of, you know, chill environment. It would inherently be a little bit faster because there's jump cuts, because it's cutting out the boring parts of content. It's speeding up the pace of the stream. However, doing the longer videos, doing not like completely unedited, but like, sorry, but like, you know, hour, 2 hour long videos, those to me are a little bit more the typical vibe. Those are more the type of content that I end up creating, the little bit longer, but you know, slow, enjoy it at your own pace stream videos. So I originally was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do both because doing both seems like it would, you know, trying to push as much content as possible and double dipping and being like, oh, hey, I don't need to go through as much effort if I just put both of them in, because I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I'm still continuing to make, you know, excuse me, that I still want to make like quality content that I'm actually pretty proud of. In mind when you base your quality on a mix of both. I would say that some of my early videos were not the best because I hadn't really figured out what my what a good style is, what works for me, what doesn't, and that type of stuff. So it's a mix of stream and those YouTube videos. So again, I'm going back to what I was originally saying of being like, oh yeah, like I don't know, like I don't want to double dip on content, but you bringing it up and me actually taking a moment to like read your message and actually think about it, I think you're right, because I would like to have both aspects available to people who enjoy different styles of content. Have the YouTube videos have the short videos for people who are used to the traditional YouTube videos that I post, of being, you know, quicker, more jumpier, keeping your attention, snappier to what you need at the given moment, not a lot of fluff, not adding in extra unnecessary pauses or anything like that, like really just like the highlights, the key details that you need to focus on. Whereas, you know, there also could be people who enjoy the slower, the full, longer videos that just kind of want to throw them on in the background and either do chores to, or cook, or have something going on, but also having like a voice in their ear, which is what I honestly do all the time. I do that with streams instead of VODs though. What other creators do you like their formats? Trying to think. One of the streams that I watch a lot is a Hearthstone player. His name is Kriparian. He's been streaming for forever. I think I've been following him for years. But basically, what I typically do when I'm watching his streams is he starts streaming usually around like 10 p.m. So when it's nighttime and, you know, it's like a Monday through Friday, I'm going to work the next day, I will put his stream on as I'm, you know, laying in bed, talking with Nicole, winding down, because he's got a very casual, like relaxing style stream. Lower voice, no music, but lower voice, just kind of relaxed. He's really old. Oh, so you know of him. Yeah. Exactly. So I like watching his videos closer to the end of my day because, again, it's just a nice, easy way to relax for going to sleep. So I think that is a typical style that I would like. And his YouTube videos, I don't watch that many of them, but they do a good job of, you know, when he plays a game, if you're familiar with his videos. Wait, did I just wire that one up there too? Oh, I did, I'm done. Yeah, I just wired that one up. I'm on autopilot. When his individual videos that he puts on YouTube will be of a single match in the game that he typically streams, Hearthstone. So his individual videos are like 20 minutes long, and they are abridged versions. So they only show the parts of the turn where he actually does stuff. They only show the combat when things are happening. So I do really like that style of keeping the relevant information there. So again, cutting out when I hop up to go do stuff, or cutting out when things that I don't want happening happen. But also keeping it like the same style, consistent, of relax, chill, hang out, have a good time. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it yet again, I'm still not sure. I still haven't decided on like a length that I'll shoot for or a style, but I do want to try to avoid having 2 copies. I do want to try to avoid that, because that would actually take quite a lot of rendering time, and I don't know if I would have the time to actually run all of that rendering. So I think maybe something a little bit longer, maybe on like the 45 minutes, 45 to 50 minutes or so, might not be too bad. Of a little bit longer, so it can kind of go, you're not expected to finish the whole thing. But again, abridge some of the shorter sections. So abridge maybe some of the instances where I'm just placing a ton of the cable pins. And, you know, cut to the times where I'm talking or the times where I'm saying something or having a conversation. But again, keep a little bit longer of videos. That actually might be what I end up going for. I like that. How often do you care about YouTube algorithm? 0. I care about it 0. Because I enjoy making content on my own pace, doing my own thing, just having fun with it. I feel like if I really tried to become a popular streamer or try to become popular on YouTube, it would take the fun out of it. Like, I enjoy just having this casual vibe, just really, when I can stream, I will. When I can put out YouTube videos, I will. But I'm not gonna force it. I'm not gonna shove content down people's throats. So I don't care about it at all. I fully intend on putting these VODs out less to expand my audience and more to just allow people to experience content in another form or experience content that they otherwise might have missed. Actually, did I place all 8 cables? I did. Okay, cool. That one goes all the way. Yeah, that one's good. And then, you know, maybe if I do full playthroughs, I'll be able to change up the style a little bit. Okay, so 20-minute video and 1+ videos are usually supported by the algorithm. For some odd reason, 30 to 50 minutes are less subjected by the algorithm for gaming content. Really? Is that so? So on YouTube, say we searched for, what's a popular game at the moment? I honestly have no idea what is a popular game at the moment. What are people playing? See Hearthstone, Path of Exile, Elden Ring? Yeah, well, yeah, I guess Elden Ring's still possible. Elden Ring, complete. Elden Ring playthrough. I won't put complete because I think that'll bias the results. Playthrough part 1. Okay, so we've got one that is 56 minutes, hour and 1 minute, 27 minutes, hour and 7, 209, 221, 7 minutes. Or top rage moments, that's 14, 19, 60 hour full game. So what it seems like is playthrough styles are just streams that have been copy and pasted in and pasted in. Yeah, so it looks like streams are just flat recordings that are then uploaded to YouTube, as opposed to regular videos. So in Elden Ring, how to. Like guides, anything like informational, specifically targeted, appears to be 9 minutes, 9 minutes, 18, 27, 15, 15, 9. There's a 48, 18, 18, 6, 28, 10. Yeah, so anything informational definitely is a little bit lower, but anything that's just a pure raw video of just gameplay is on the longer side. Actually, let's check Elden Ring gameplay. And this is also basing it purely on one game. This might not hold true for all things. Gameplay. 50, 20, 16 hours, 15, 107, 27, 4, 1 hour, 24, 19, 240, 30, 12. Yeah, kind of just all over the place. 10-minute videos, 20-minute videos, 1 hour plus is kind of some weird quirk the algorithm settled on. Yeah, that actually is a good point. Like, I didn't really find anything in like the 35 to 55 range. It's always like 55 plus or like 30 minus. That's really weird. Yeah, that's odd. It's definitely by viewing habit. Like, it's definitely by viewing habit of people, of do they prefer longer videos or do they prefer shorter videos? And it seems to be that people prefer a much shorter video, like a more direct 20-minute something. And then for longer, and then they like longer. Anything in between those ranges is like long and not desirable, but not long enough to be like a good sit-down watch. Algorithm works exactly what we tell them we want. Well, yeah, that is true. Algorithms do indeed give us what we want. I would hope that an algorithm does a good job of that, but sometimes that is not always the case. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. There's two sides of it. Because now that I know that, I'm like, well, if anything happens with it, I might as well just maximize my advantages. But yeah, I'm torn. Okay. Anyways, let's continue. Maybe we will start on the little bit of a shorter side. So this video in particular, I know for example, these recordings in these sessions are not going to be long videos. I'm not going to release these ones long. Creators settle on those video links because it's less work. I don't know. I feel like the longer videos like VODs are gonna be an hour plus. So if they just upload a direct VOD, obviously that's not a lot of work. But anything like right around an hour or 50 minutes that looks like it's from a VOD had to be edited and therefore had to be rendered, and that required work. So I think maybe yes and no. I think yes in some instances, yes or no in others. Kind of just depends on a few random parts of the situation. But yeah, it's a 6 hour event, 45. It's a lot more work than a 20-minute highlight reel. Again, yes and no. If you had to watch through a 60-hour video to get those highlights, or not 60-hour, geez. If you had to watch a 6-hour video, get your 20-minute highlights, edit that, yeah, it'll be less work than a 45-minute video. But you still have to spend a majority of the time going through the footage and picking out what you want to cut. And that's actually exactly what I intend to do. What I intend to do is watch back my stream VODs slowly, either at night or when I'm not doing anything or when I have some free time, and pick the parts that I want to cut. And initially, however long that video ends up being, that's how long the video is. Obviously, I would like to settle on a rough time that can be expected each time. Sure, it's not going to be too much work. No, it definitely will be work. It definitely will be work. I know I've been like, oh yeah, I'll be in, out, record, set this video up, 2 hours tops, and it's been like 5. So trust me, I've been in that boat before. But again, it's one of those things where if I'm watching back what my video, what my VOD was, and something happens, I'm like, I don't like that. Back it up a few seconds, chop it out, stitch it back together. A lot of the time is going to be more rendering time and watching time. I don't think the editing time is going to be huge because I'm not going to do anything fancy with it. It's just going to be purely like crosscuts. At least, again, that is my intention. Maybe I have too grand of an idea and that is actually going to be a lot more work and not worth it. At which point I will probably revert just to full streams. But yeah, again, my intention is to give it some edits, to give it some cuts, and try to keep the content relevant and prevalent. We'll see where it goes eventually. But again, settling on a time, settling on how long I want those to be, is probably going to be trial and error. I know that there are also actually a couple of tools. Depending on how good your footage is, maybe time-lapse of your projects would be funny. Actually, that would be really cool. I have been thinking about using a like a second viewing camera as some kind of like recording in build. So like station a camera like right up there in the sky, and every time I build, just take a video of it. But that would be a little bit too difficult to set up a second account that I can then log into and host it on a multiplayer save and all that type of stuff. That would just add a lot of hassle. But I guess like a sped up video of building it personally would be kind of cool. Wire. Yummy calzones, were they good, Nicole? But honestly, I don't even think that would really depend on the quality of the footage, because it's all recorded at 60 FPS. 1080p, so it's decent quality. Obviously it depends on how well the encoder does, which I haven't seen yet, so that could be a little bit of an issue, but we'll see. I could also look into just transferring the VOD off of Twitch, which is interesting. Twitch actually has an export feature to just send VODs to YouTube, which I'm not the biggest fan of because I would like at least like some edit control, but it's something to worry about. Yeah, slow-mo requires the higher frame rates, so you can break it down. Yep. Time-lapses don't. Nope, it's all just sped up. I could release my time-lapse in 4,000 frames per second if I really wanted to. It would be a fast time-lapse, but I could. Switch to the left. But yeah, so there will be a learning curve to it. There will be a lot of trial and error of figuring out what works, what doesn't work, what type of stuff I want to cut, if there's a way that I can mark it, if I can add like video markers in that can allow me to quickly hop to certain things that I know I want to cut. That would be easy. An epileptic seizure. Yeah, that might be a little bit too fast. I think you might be right there. You know, I'll take your advice. If I ever do a time lapse, I won't do it at 4,000 FPS. I'll make that promise now. Like the witty banter of my stream. That's it. That's exactly it. Like the having the quick kind of quips back and forth. And that's one of the things that I'm going to need to decide, because early on in the stream, there weren't a lot of people, mostly people kind of lurking, hanging out, a couple questions that came in every now and then. But what really makes it fun, what really makes it lively, is when all of you guys come in. Chill Beats and the Wire things. Yeah, it's when you guys, it's honestly you guys. Every single time. Always, always, always. It's the viewers who come in and just have fun conversations and have a great time. You're depressed, the videos of the concert look so fun. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole. You'll just have to make the next one. But yeah, again, Zarek, it's all you guys that make this enjoyable. It's the community that really helps this feel fun and enjoyable. And so again, that's what I would like to, that's what I would intend to highlight with edits, is to have to highlight again like the quick witty conversations that happen back and forth, quick quips and jokes and all that type of stuff. And sometimes that can turn out to be a very long video, sometimes that can turn out to be a very short video if there's not a lot going on. So it could be very variable, but there's got to be some metric of some kind, some consistency I can adhere to. I think that's what I'm still trying to figure out. And granted, I may have been saying the same thing every single time we've been having this conversation. I might have been saying the same thing for the last like 10 minutes. But it's okay, that happens a lot. My brain is distracted. I'm being pulled in 2 separate directions. Sounds like overthinking it. Possibly. Yeah, it possibly could be. I think you're right though. I think in my head I'm thinking that like the first video that I'm putting out, or the first recording segment and all that type of stuff, it's gotta be perfect. It's gotta be this, it's gotta be that. Like, this has gotta be the videos that I put out. It's gonna be a learning curve, who am I kidding? Just do it. See how it goes. See what people like. Get feedback and go from there. Is a weakness you can exploit in programmer types. Yeah, overthinking it, trying to complicate solutions, having split brain in a couple different directions. Yeah, all the above, really. All the above indeed. Learned that in Industry PvP, when you made a fake nuke bomb to hurt players. Works as well if it could actually explode. I remember you telling me about that a few streams ago. That you were trying to scare people with that strategy, and it actually worked out pretty well. I think I'm surprised that a game like Industry has a PvP segment to it. It's super awesome that it does, though, because that's a very unique IP that not a lot of people focus on. Because obviously your satisfactories, your factory IOs are all about optimization and all that type of stuff, but adding in that adding in the PvP aspect of things is super cool. You can see the processors the enemy players put down, but you can't access the code unless you copy it. So you just attached codeless processors to threatening looking objects to scare people. There's a working version that does explode if you get too close. Wait, you didn't write that yet. It's actually super cool. That just sounds like it's so complex though. I think I commented on the learning curve in Industry just being absolutely awful. Because figuring out how you start, at some point you just gotta basically copy other people's bases as they smash your face in and try to learn from them what works and what doesn't work. I remember having that conversation. Gotta get that automation fix. Oh yeah. Honestly, I get my automation fix from Astroneer. I enjoyed Satisfactory, but constantly having to like rebuild and redistribute your whole factory kind of got a little bit tedious to me. I enjoyed the game a lot, but again, going over everything multiple times just kind of got a little bit moot. Wasn't my favorite thing to do. All right, I think let's finish this. Let's finish this wiring stuff. Let's power through the challenges. Let's fight this adversity of wiring, and let's get at least half of it done. So we're gonna speed up here real fast. And we're going to try to be ever so slightly less distracted, so we can maybe grind through it quick. Maybe. No promises. Actually, in the next row, we're going to be coming back here real often. Satisfactory is just manifolds over and over with a few variances. I mean, yeah, kind of. There was some uniqueness to it. I will give it that. I did really enjoy the visual aspect of everything, though. The painting, so for custom paint jobs on the the heavy machinery, and you could customize the colors, and the player movement, the color scheming, and believe it or not, the combat was actually really fun. I thought it was a very, very well put together game. There are so many individual aspects to it that I liked a lot. But the actual gameplay itself, the actual goal of the game, got just a little bit boring for me. Probably should go back and play. I think you'd be a good weaver in a previous life. I'd be a good weaver. I think I would actually be a pretty good weaver in my current life. Because believe it or not, my sister, she would make a lot of those like little tiny string bracelets. She had a bunch of different strings, and she would like weave them all together and make different patterns and stuff like that. And there were complex ones that she did, but also simple ones that she did. And so she actually taught me a couple of patterns. And every now and then, I will attempt to braid Nicole's hair for her if she asks me to. So I think I could make a decent weaver in this life. But I think the practicality of being a weaver and actually enjoying it or doing it as a profession would be much better suited to a past life, if you know what I mean. I think it's a very niche thing today as opposed to a common practice and a necessity many lives ago. Actually, I think I like this style of placing them a lot more. Do all the close ones first, and then do the radial ones after. I think that saves me a little bit of time for readjusting, and it makes it a lot easier to figure out which ones have to go where. Actually, I just had a realization that could be kind of interesting. That was the implication, considering you weave wires in the same manner. Kind of. I would say that this is more akin to spider webbing, and I would wholeheartedly say I'm a much better spider than I am a weaver, especially an Astroneer. But the realization that I had that could be a bit of an issue, which again I need to stop worrying about and I need to just do it and see how it comes out, is how the songs are going to handle jump cuts. I don't think I can do abrupt. I think I would need a transition of some kind, like a quick gain shift to switch over. Spider webbing, exactly. I mean, you will have to wait until I get to the end of this row for the prime example, but I think the description of spider webbing fits very aptly. I mean, you can't look at this and tell me it doesn't look a little bit like a spider web. At least a little. Is that 7? That is 7. Cool. It reminds me of the string board diagrams that you see to like depict insane or conspiracy people, where they have everything like tacked up and pinned to a board, and there's all those red strings that are connecting people and faces and events and all that type of stuff. Not saying that that Astroneer webbing is like that, but those are an interesting web that some people do tend to weave. You've always wanted to make one of those boards. Okay, how can we do a good joke one? All right, obviously because I'm playing Astroneer now, I'm thinking how you can do like an Astroneer themed conspiracy board like that. Like, who can you tie Dr. Ingus to for all the space snails and galastropods, and what happened to them and where they came from, and you could build a real good conspiracy around that. Strings tax corkboard is so inconvenient compared to a beautiful whiteboard. Oh, yeah, that's entirely true. I would 100% prefer to use a whiteboard. I don't think I would ever intend to, or I don't think I would ever deliberately use a corkboard if I had the option to use a whiteboard in pretty much any scenario. Also, like, corkboards, as they get like older and older and older, like little tiny pieces of cork fall out all the time, and that just sounds messy to me, and I don't want to have to deal with that. Like, that's just an extra added bit of cleanup that is completely unnecessary. Plus magnets. Oh yes, you're right. Magnets. I've got so many little magnets, so many little gadgety magnet type things. I've got so many that I have 2 that are like permanently stuck, not permanently, but that are stuck to one of my pens, and I just disregard it and I just use it anyways. I've got square magnets. I've got hard drive magnets. These hard drive magnets are very strong. This thing kind of got messy, but it's more magnets stuck to a bunch of zip ties, because as a computer engineer, I always have zip ties on hand in case I need to tie up some wires or bundle anything together. You know, magnets are key. Magnets make the world go round. They don't, but kinda. Awesome. I know I've got to go. Ooh, I didn't even show you my best magnets. I like my hard drive magnets, my neodymium ones, because again, they're super, super strong. If you've ever played with hard drive magnets, you'll know. But I do have cooler magnets. Magnets is because the world goes round. That's why I said, well, kind of. There they are. These are my cool magnets. Where's just a bunch of little magnety things that you can stick together, all the individual pieces. So they're triangular, like diagonal pieces. Sorry, I'm not displaying them the best. And you can like slot them in. And then there's also these ones that are like half pieces. Oh, they're so much fun. They're so much fun to play with. Your math professor loves those? Yeah, I haven't really, there was like a little, like, I don't know if it was like a booklet or something like that, but my mom got it for me for Christmas one year. And so there was a little thing that came with it that kind of described some like things that you can try to do or games that you can play. And one of them was to assemble that same shape, but to make it so that no piece of the same color is touching. So you can't have 2 of the white pieces next to each other. You can't have 2 of the blue pieces next to each other or anything like that. And that was kind of fun. That wasn't terribly hard, but that gave me like a 10 minutes of thinking to go through. But there are other ones too, but I never really went through with them. Like, I'm just so much more of a fan of just playing with it, tossing it around, breaking it apart, taking it apart, and then like putting it all back together again, and yeah, there we go. Good, all set. I think they tried to force the multi-purpose aspect of it a little bit too hard, and we're like, "Ooh, you can do this and this and this and this," and try to come up with all these things. And I'm like, "But I just want to play with them. Like, I just want to mess with my magnets. That's it." All right. This time we're going to be making quite a lot of trips across our spider field. Across the gist of our spider web to place all these guys. Love buckyball magnets. I like them a lot too. The buckyballs that I have, I actually found at my school, and I was really proud of them because I didn't have to purchase them because they're super expensive too. It was like $40 for a thing of, how many was it? I don't think it was 4x4x4. It might have been 5x5x5, which is 125. It might have been like $40 for 125 of them, which is kind of expensive because they're super tiny. So I found those ones, and I was like, oh, sweet, I found them. Especially when they were in like their heyday. And I've held on to them ever since because obviously, again, I love magnets. I love playing with them. And then the smaller square ones that I have, I actually purchased off of one of those, albeit shady websites. It was the nerd equivalent of wish.com. It was Geek. It's called Geek. So I paid like $2 and like $3 in shipping, and it was like, great, they'll get to you in a month. And I completely forgot about them. And then this was like 3 years ago, where I was walking to hockey practice, and I got an email that I had a package waiting at our mail pickup spot. And I was like, oh, sweet, I'll pick them up on my way over. So I stop and I pick them up, and they were magnets. And I was so excited. ThinkGeek.com? No, it was just Geek.com. I don't know ThinkGeek. I'm not sure what ThinkGeek is. I wouldn't condone using Geek for anything important. If you have $5 that you want to spend on a cheap product that you won't care about and it'll take forever to get to you, sure. But yeah. Anyways, it took forever to get to me, and I've played with those magnets so much. I like them because I do have a full set of them. The buckyballs I don't have a full set of. I've got like 12 and one pink one, so I can't really make like any cool shapes out of them. But the square ones, I've got the full 5x5x5 stack, so I just make like geometrical shapes out of them, and they're super fun. You know, I think if I have some free time this weekend, which I should have some free time this weekend in between a few things, I think I might do some off-stream work on this. Just because this wiring does take a while, and I don't want to fill up another 4-hour stream segment, essentially, with just this same wiring, but for this half instead of this half. So I think, again, if I have some free time this weekend, I'll do a little bit of wiring to hopefully mitigate the amount of wiring that I need to do to actually complete this, and the lower the amount that I have to do on stream, which I think would just be beneficial in general. You have a lot there, remind you too much of molecular self-assembly. That's fair. I wouldn't say I think too much about like molecular self-assembly. When I'm playing with them, I think of like crystal planes, of like material science stuff, about different types of cubic cells, and what's this not connected to? It's not connected to there we go, of like different types of cubic cells and the orientation and how they create a crystal through repeating patterns and whatnot. Pteriophage. Yeah, no, I tend to go more a little bit larger scale. Slightly, not much larger, but I definitely think more on the crystal side. To be fair, I really enjoy material science. Material science is one of those classes that everybody hated, but I really, really liked. So maybe that's just me. Think of crystals where you can tightly pack those magnets. Yeah, that makes sense. Like, actually, I used my buckyballs, one of the assignments, like first week of material science, they were like, oh, find an example of a crystal orientation in natural crystal orientation, and be like, hey, yeah, that's why it occurs like this. So some people did pictures of like salts, or pictures of like some various aspect of naturally occurring something in like an FCC or a BCC structure. And I took my buckyballs and I pushed them together, and I took a picture of it, and I was like, oh yeah, there we go, we're done. It was more of just like talking about like the order structures and that they exist in nature and all that type of stuff, and being like, hey, it exists because it's much more energetically favorable for that to happen. So I don't know, that always stuck with me, and I very much prefer any type of geometry that I work with to be in like a neat, orderly, structured manner when I can. When I can't, I grumble, but I deal with it. Your boy, hello. I like the haircut. Thank you, thank you. It's really funny because this happened a couple times now, where I've had this haircut for a little bit. I've had this haircut for probably about a month at this point, maybe. So every now and then, this even happens at work, there'll be someone I haven't seen in a little bit, like yourself or a couple people in the office, and they'll be like, oh, you got a haircut. And I kind of pause for a moment, and I'm like, what? No, I didn't. And then I realized that I haven't seen them since I've switched my haircut. So yeah, thank you. It has been a bit. How are you doing, you boy? Hopefully you've been doing well. You have caught us towards the end of our stream. We've got maybe another 5 or 10 minutes left. Then we will unfortunately be ending. But at least you can hop in and see some pretty sweet updates that we've made. Sorry, the school's been tough and you haven't had time to watch anybody really. Hey, come on. No need to apologize for that whatsoever. I completely get the school part. School's a priority. Make sure that you're focusing on your studies, making sure that you're getting all your homework done and paying attention in class. And, you know, if you do have free time, then you can enjoy yourself. But never apologize for not being able to watch my stream. Come on, you know that. I'm just happy whenever someone shows up, whenever someone is enjoying chat or anything like that. And if I can make you happy, that's all good for me. But never feel obligated. Come on, you're okay. And boom, just like that, we have finished wiring half of our snake's movement. A wide view of what I'm doing. You're trying to get a screenshot to show your friend. Well, there you go. If you really want a complete view, this is everything that has been worked on so far. This is everything. Actually, that works out really well with where the banner and where my webcam is. That actually displays it quite nicely. But yeah, so today we placed upwards of 1,000 cable pins. In wiring half our snake, we put at least 4 cable pins for 4 individual power sensors for 64 nodes. So that's 4 times 4 times 64. That's a lot. That is certainly a lot. Oh wait, hold on. No, maybe that's not 1,000. Is that not 1,000? 4 times 4 times 64. 4 times 64. No, it is 256. Yes, 256, and then that takes us to 32, 1032. Okay, cool. And then we did a couple other things on the side, so we definitely placed more than 1,000 cable pins today, and that makes sense because it took us about 4 hours to do so. But yeah, so that does lead us to the end of the stream. So in case you missed it at various other points in the video or anything like that, I am trying to record these and edit them into YouTube videos. So by this point, you probably had heard earlier the conversation that I was kind of having with Eric, and also thinking out loud about how I'm not sure how I want to do these videos, what length I want to do them at, how I want to try to structure the content or anything like that. So if you end up seeing this video on YouTube, please let me know. Let me know what you like. Let me know what you didn't like. Tell me anything. Give me any feedback. I don't care. If you hated the video and it's awful, but a bunch of other people like it, sorry, I'm going to keep doing it. So again, just let me know what you like. Let me know what works, and hopefully I can start to tailor a few more of those videos to that style, because I do want to record full playthroughs for YouTube as well, like playing Stardew Valley, playing, what's the space? Playing Prey. I want to do a full Astroneer playthrough on Switch. So some stuff like that. Again, just let me know how you like it. As to all of you hanging out in chat today, your boy, thanks for hopping in the most recent parts. Zarek, always a pleasure to have you around, and anybody else who is hanging out in chat but not speaking immediately at the moment, thank you all for being here. Hopefully we'll see you guys on Sunday, which should be the next stream, probably right around mid-afternoon Eastern Standard Time. I don't really have anything going on. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll do an early stream so we can get some of our European folks to come say hi. It's been a little bit since I've been able to stream early because of work and school and other commitments that I have on the weekend. So maybe we'll try to shoot for like 11 a.m. on Saturday, Eastern Standard Time. So hopefully we'll see you guys all then. Again, take it easy. Have a good night, everyone. Get some good eats if you haven't done so already, and we'll see you all very soon.